very interesting, and I think it's going to yield some good results. Another part of the browser that is changing and helps people with openness and globalization and a flat world is the storage APIs. In the browser, you can traditionally you have what are called cookies, where you can store not very long pieces of information in the browser. Well, browser standards have changed, and now you can do a lot of cool things with storing a lot more than just little pieces of information in the browser. You can take whole web applications offline that can be run offline, and that to me is very, very cool. I love programming in the browser, and again, I think it's so awesome that you can just open up a notepad or any text editor you want and start coding, and it'll run on anybody's computer who has a browser. And the web storage APIs and storing things locally is very cool, because I can actually program on my iPhone in airplane mode, and so I'm not even connected to the internet, but I can program on my iPhone for my iPhone and save things locally. And that being said, on this concept of openness and the flat world, I think people maybe have given Apple a lot of grief about their kind of closed format for the iPhone and for developing on the iPhone. And I think that that's true, but I think a lot of people don't look at the fact that, or maybe forget the fact that the iPhone has the Safari browser built into it, and there's so much open, cool, interesting things, like all these things I'm talking about, except for the video tag, it's not in there yet, but all these cool things that can be done using the Safari browser. I can write web applications from my iPhone for my iPhone and run it in my iPhone without being connected to the internet. And if I wanted to have it connected to the internet and stored and saved and pulling information from different sources, I can do all sorts of visual things like drag and drop things. I can save information locally. And so there's really a huge amount of things that you can do within the browser. And I think it's important that is noted, because that's one of the platforms of the open world, of the flat world, is the browser. Now, I think it's also important to note that these newer increases in the browser are being pioneered by Google and Apple. I think they seem to be both in line with these sort of things, and also Firefox, Mozilla Firefox, which I think had to do in its history with Netscape. I'm not really sure, and then the resistor obviously is Internet Explorer. They are kind of coming along a little bit as far as web standards and openness, but that is hard to deal with when you're trying to have these open programs to deal with the fact that Internet Explorer restricts, or they don't implement all these open, cool new things in the browser in their browser. But a way to accommodate for that is there's a lot of frameworks and things that try to give these new functionalities to Internet Explorer by using maybe plugins, or maybe just frameworks that make the same functionality using Flash or a different way. I also like to talk about how the browser has increased not only in functionality but also performance. Back a couple of years ago, Google came out with Google Chrome, a browser that just totally rocked on speed, on JavaScript performance. And when I say JavaScript is the language of the browser. When you need to program something in the browser, you're going to be using JavaScript. Interactivity, book talked about Ajax, pulling things from different sources, all that. Now JavaScript just completely made JavaScript, or Google Chrome completely made JavaScript run so much faster that all the other browsers had to compete with that. And so they, in turn, try to make their JavaScript run faster. And so now we've got this competition among browsers, which has been very, very, very healthy for, I think, the flat world, and very healthy for the platform of the flat world, is to make the browser really, really a robust and strong and you can say indestructible platform to build applications, and not to mention open platform to make applications. And so that's really what I wanted to talk about is, starting from Netscape, starting from the World Wide Web, the browser is becoming more and more powerful, and there's more and more things that just some guy, anybody can do, anybody with a computer and internet access can do, and then create something very powerful without any expensive tools, and then share it globally, share it across the world. Um, so I think that's very, very important to think about when you talk about the flat world. And again, I want to touch on, it is hard when you are dealing with Internet Explorer, but they are starting to come around little by little, and eventually the market share of Internet Explorer is slowly and slowly decreasing, and I think that's a very good thing for the flat world and the platform of the flat world, and that's what I wanted to talk about. My name is Drew Lesweir, and I will see you later.